My name is Emma, and today I'm going to be presenting research for my honors thesis on the role of intrusive parenting in the relationship between child behaviors and learning outcomes. So the child behaviors that were examined in this project were externalizing behavior problems and child attention. And we looked at the relationship between those child behaviors and academic achievement. So why should we care about this relationship? Well, the literature has indicated that children with externalizing behavior problems and/or children who struggle with attention perform worse in school settings and on tests of academic achievement. However, the mechanism behind this relationship is not well understood, and the role that parenting may play in this relationship warrants more investigation. So this project looked at intrusive parenting as a mediator between those child behaviors and academic outcomes. So intrusive parenting is a parenting style that tends to limit child autonomy, involves excessive directiveness and control, and involves a lack of supportive and responsive interactions between the parent and the child. Because we looked at intrusive parenting as a mediator in this relationship, we assumed that intrusive parenting would be a child-driven effect, meaning that essentially the child's behaviors were driving the parent's behaviors and acted as an antecedent to the way that the parent interacted with their child. For example, if a child was exhibiting externalizing behavior problems, our hypothesis was that a parent would respond to those externalizing behavior problems with intrusive parenting. A great example of this would be a child is off task while doing their schoolwork and exhibiting a lot of inattention or externalizing behavior problems, and the parent responds with excessive directiveness or control or autonomy limiting. So the two hypotheses that I had for this project were first that intrusive parenting would mediate the association between child inattention and poor academic outcomes, and second that intrusive parenting would mediate the association between child externalizing behaviors and poor academic outcomes. So for the methods, this project used a sample of children who were aged 3 to 7.5 years. 53.7% were female and 45.4% were male. The measures that were used in this study, first for attention, parents reported on their child's attention on the child behavior checklist, and there was also an observational rating of attention. For externalizing behavior problems, parents reported their child's externalizing behaviors on the child behavior checklist. And for intrusive parenting, the child rearing practices report was used, and parents reported their own parenting on this report. For academic achievement, a standardized test was administered to children. The test that was used was the Woodcock-Johnson tests of achievement, and two subtests were used, the letter word identification subtest and the applied problems subtest. The results were as follows. First, for child behaviors, which included attention and externalizing problems, we found that those behaviors were significantly correlated with academic achievement. So as you can see, the child behavior checklist rating of attention was significantly correlated with the Woodcock-Johnson letter word identification and applied problems subtests, and the same was true for the externalizing behavior problems. For the mediation model, neither of the mediation models were supported. Intrusive parenting did not explain the relationship between these child behaviors and the worst academic outcomes, and intrusive parenting was actually not significantly associated with any of the study variables. However, the relationship between attention and externalizing behaviors was significantly correlated. So, as we can see, attention and externalizing behaviors are associated with measures of school performance, which indicates that identifying children with these problems is incredibly important if we hope to improve their academic outcomes. And it indicates that there's a need for intervention and prevention of these attention and externalizing behavior problems in order for those children to be able to be successful in a school setting. For future directions, since neither of the mediation models were supported, more research into the possible mechanisms behind this relationship is needed. Thank you for listening to this presentation. If you have any questions or comments, my email is on this slide.